One of, if not the greatest nights in Emirates history for Arsenal. Arsenal 3, Real Madrid nil. The 15-time European champions came to London and got absolutely demolished, battered, outplayed, outclassed, destroyed by Arsenal. And those words, you can maybe use them when describing a performance, and maybe you can, over exaggerate a little bit at times. But I don't think that even the tiniest part of me thinks any of those words are an exaggeration for what Arsenal did to this Real Madrid side. This Real Madrid side who have all this aura in the Champions League, who are always, defying logic. Well, they couldn't do it against this wonderful Arsenal side. I thought Mikel Arteta set them up perfectly. He had a great game. I think Maslow Skelly, 18 years old and doing what he was doing, being such a pivotal part of this Arsenal side, which led the foundations for other players to go on and excel, absolutely phenomenal. Declan Rice, when you spend £100 million on a player, you bloody well make sure that they can deliver in big games. And boy, did he do that. There was no doubt about that going into this game. And this game, he really highlighted what a wonderful player he is. And lastly, of course, Bukayo Saka. We all realised when he went down injured how big of a miss he was going to be. But it really showed to me that the fact that now that he's back, how much better he makes the rest of his teammates look as well. But not only that, when you had the players like sort of Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Mbappe on this pitch, and the fact that they didn't show up whatsoever, and Bukayo Saka, just coming back from injury, was able to kick it into gear and just play like he wasn't out at all and had no issues whatsoever. He is world class, and this Arsenal side, what a performance, what a team, and 3-0. Honestly, I still can't believe I'm saying it. And I'm absolutely going to come on to Bukayo Saka and his teammates, who I thought did fantastically. But I have to first talk about Arteta, because in this side, he's missing Gabriel at the back, a crucial blow. Kivio came in, had a couple of nervy moments early on, but actually generally throughout the game did really well. You've also got Lewis Kelly, like I mentioned, at left back 18, doing a fantastic job in the absence of Ricardo Calafiori, and arguably starts ahead of him now. But also Mikel Merino in the number 9. Who thought that when Arsenal bought him in the summer that he's going to be playing number 9 with the absences of Havertz and Gabriel Jesus, and the fact that he was actually going to score in games like this and actually going to do well? The weirdest stat, he's scored more goals against Real Madrid than any other team in his career. That is absolutely mental. But what did Arteta do to make this team just dominate Real Madrid, make sure that Real Madrid didn't really have a kick, didn't really have many chances? I think they had earlier next year of 0.5, and most of those shots were outside the box, and Raya didn't really have too much to do. What did he do? Well, Real Madrid have lost a handful of games so far this season. They are acceptable, and it's their moments in the moments of quality that they're able to produce. That means they get out of games and get out of jail sometimes. But actually, Arsenal were able to keep the ball, control it well, and Real Madrid's press was really ineffective and actually really poor. So what they did was David Raya stepped forward, he came out with the ball, and the two of Real Madrid, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, they were pressing, but they didn't really press well, they didn't really press too effectively, and so Arsenal were able to get away with it every single time. Maslow Skelly played a very important role. He inverted himself into midfield, Kivio came out to the left-hand side, Saliba kind of came down the centre, and Timber was on the right. And when David Raya passed the ball to Saliba, Mbappe and Vinicius, whether it's Timber, Kivio, Saliba, or if not, Saliba would pull out to the right-hand side, David Raya would join in. They just could not get the ball off Arsenal here in the back line. And every time they tried to press, it was so ineffective. Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe were just struggling. And what that meant was Saka kept the width on one side, Martinelli kept the width on the other. And so Madrid's defence, who wanted to be really compact, were unable to do so, and they had to go out wide with those two players as well. And what that meant was you then had this midfield here of Odegaard, Partey, Lewis Kelly, Rice versus Camavinga, Modric, and they were just being outnumbered. So obviously Bellingham comes in to help out, but Odegaard, he's trying to help Alaba with Saka, he's also trying to help Camavinga with Odegaard, but he's not really getting near any of them. All the meanwhile, Lewis Kelly and Thomas Partey just having the ball in the middle, doing whatever they want, and Declan Rice is here. Does Luka Modric go with Lewis Kelly? Does he go with Thomas Partey? What does he do? Well, he can't really do much. And so it leaves Rodrigo in this position that anytime Miles Lewis Kelly got the ball, he's thinking to himself, do I go with Kivio? Do I go with Lewis Kelly? Do I go with Rice? Do I try and help Valverde out with Martinelli? Riga was so absent in this game and allowed Declan Rice to have all this space. And this is what Declan Rice does best. Drive into this space, use his energy, use his power, and get Arsenal up the field. And he was able to do that. Valverde sometimes then would end up coming inside, leave space for Martinelli, and it was just chaos down Real Madrid's right hand side, and Arsenal had them man for man. But what I want to highlight first, Bukayo Saka, because Bellingham was doing an okay-ish job of trying to help Alaba out, but Saka one-on-one against Alaba, or even one-on-one against Bellingham, because Bellingham was helping him out, was unable to get anywhere near him, because Bukayo Saka, my God, what a player Arsenal have on their hands. So, back to the screenshot, Bukayo Saka, him running one-on-one against the Real Madrid defence was absolute carnage. They couldn't do anything to stop him whatsoever, and that was it. Get Saka one-on-one and get him to the byline and try and get him to put a decent ball in, and he will do it every time for you. So here he is, squaring up Alaba. Can Alaba do anything? He hasn't played like a Champions League game, I think, for 16 months, I think it was. He is a very good player, but Saka is just much better. And because he's so much better, he's able to create that separation between him and the defender and get a ball into the box. Nothing comes of it, but this is the one where Asensio lets it go and then Rudiger ends up hitting it off him, and then it almost goes into the back of the net but goes out for a corner. And this is the very early warning signs for Real Madrid of what could happen if they don't properly sort out Bukayo Saka. This is Saka again. This time he's got Alaba and Bellingham because Odegaard's in the area as well, so Bellingham needs to help out, otherwise Saka's just gonna have a field day. And from here you think to yourself, surely there's not going to be much room, surely you're going to have to play the ball back. But no. Odegaard's movement away from the ball means that Alaba has to track him, and that leaves Saka one-on-one against Bellingham. And you probably think to yourself, Bellingham is a big strong boy, he'll be able to outmuscle Saka, maybe get his arm in front of him and then just see the ball out. But no, Saka is way too strong for him, and he's able to get past Bellingham arguably quite easily. And on this occasion he puts the ball right across the box and no one's there. And you can probably can't see it, but go back and watch the highlight. Saka here has got his back towards the rest of his teammates because he is fuming. He wants somewhere there to put the ball in the back of the net, and no one obliges. You got Declan Rice with his hands on his head. He's the closest one to it, but he realizes, he could have been there. Mika Marino, he's not quite there, and this is just one example of obviously why Arsenal with a striker will be a much, much better side. But again, Real Madrid warning signs. This is Saka in the first half while it's still 0-0. Look at what he's able to do. Arsenal realise it, but they're just not quite getting it right. And in that first half, I thought that Arsenal were the better side, but it's not like Real Madrid didn't have their opportunities as well. There was a little bit of sloppy play at the back. Real Madrid were able to hit on the counter-attack. Mbappe had a shot, Vinicius had a shot. It wasn't completely Arsenal's way, even though they had all the foundations to go on and kick on. And I thought to myself at halftime, okay, maybe Real Madrid will come out. Maybe they'll be a bit better in the second half. But they weren't. Arsenal were. Arsenal went out in that second half, carried on doing what they're doing, stepped it up a gear as well. And then what resulted was just arguably the greatest 45 minutes of football at the Emirates ever. I think it's fair to say. Arsenal fans, let me know. Now we're into the second half. And again, Bukayo Saka is causing Real Madrid so many headaches. This time, though, he's not going out on the outside. He's starting from a very wide position and is coming inside. And now Real Madrid have an even bigger problem because not only can Saka put a good delivery into the box, he can also shoot from these positions. So they have to stop him. And I did think to myself when I was watching it, Saka, pass it to Lewis Kelly. He's right there. There's quite an easy pass. What are you doing holding on to the ball? But Saka is such an intelligent player, and Mikel Arteta, I think he knows what he wants his players to do. And he knows that he wants Saka to keep hold of the ball, and then foul him. Saka could have released that ball so much earlier. And I think it's clear that he didn't because they had a plan. They had a plan of when they got a foul, they had something they wanted to do with it. And yeah, this is it here. I mean, it's so early on in the second half, and Real Madrid at this point, when they foul Saka, are so frustrated already into the second half because they can't get anywhere near Arsenal, but they're about to get a whole lot more frustrated. And we have to talk about Declan Rice because, my God, what a player. I can't even articulate what I want to say now because the words I have to describe him just haven't been invented. He was that good. And when I see this, when I was watching it live, I think to myself, okay, it's perfect for Saka. He's having such a good game so far. Let's see if he can, put it over the wall and put it into the top corner. And it wasn't him. It was Declan Rice. Never scored a free kick in his career, but now he scored two. And this first one, you know, I have no complaints here. I mean, I think the angle's a bit funny, so maybe a bit lopsided. So you think the wall is in a good position, but I think the wall is in a great position. I think Courtois is in a great position. There's no one blocking him whatsoever. It's just an absolutely phenomenal free kick to get the whip to get it round the wall and then get it so it's basically a millimeter away from the post. Doesn't even hit the post. But it couldn't go anywhere else. It genuinely couldn't go anywhere else. And it is one of the, in terms of the occasion in the quarterfinals of a Champions League, against this opposition, against the great names you have in this Real Madrid side, against one of the great keepers of modern football, to put this into the back of the net, it was honest. Like I said, the words haven't been invented for how great this free kick was. And Declan Rice absolutely deserves huge credit for this. And Courtois isn't even a small goalkeeper. He's like, what, 6'6"? And to get it there, it's, honestly, he was absolutely unstoppable. No keeper could have stopped it. And yeah, Arsenal find themselves 1-0 up. But then very quickly, they find themselves 2-0 up as well. And who is it in the build-up to the goal? Yes, of course. Yet again, it's Bukayo Saka. Again, doing what he was doing in the early free kick in the setup. He was starting out in the wide position, then coming infield to try and draw a foul, and he's done it again. Because as you can see, there is a man there. I'm not quite sure who it is. It might be Miles Lewis-Skelly, it might be Kivior. I'm not quite sure who it is. But there is a very simple pass there across maybe 5 to 10 yards. He can make, not 5 yards, 10-yard pass into midfield, and he can move the play on. But no, he's going to draw the Real Madrid players and he's going to draw another foul. But not before he makes them look like absolute fools because they think they're okay, they think they're fine. Saka goes away and then you just, with a burst of acceleration, goes past him again. And then he's off, and you cannot stop him. And then he gets brought down again in a very dangerous situation. Camavinga with the foul. I thought he had a very tidy first half, Camavinga, but second half he was run ragged, and we'll talk about him right at the end. But yeah, another dangerous situation after what you just saw. Did I think to myself, maybe the same could happen again? No. Did the same happen again? Not quite. I'd actually argue it is potentially even better. Because when Declan Rice shapes up to hit this again, just like with the first one, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe he can hit it over the wall, maybe into the far post. But this time he goes near post. And I think the fact of the first free kick going in means that the setup for this one is absolutely perfect. You've got 3 players there blocking Courtois' view. He doesn't have a clear line of sight towards the ball, so he doesn't know who's the one going to be hitting it, where's the ball going, and the Arsenal players disperse at the perfect moment to give Declan Rice the best chance. But again, Declan Rice, I mean, like I said, when you spend £100 million on a player, the big games, the big occasions, you want them to step up and you want them to take ownership and say, lads, come on, I'm going to win this game, come along with me. Him, Rice, they were absolutely fantastic. And this delivery, again, this free kick is everything. The Arsenal players in the wall disperse at the perfect time. And then here, I mean, it's top corner. There, I can't even see any other part of the net. The ball is as close to being in that corner as it possibly can be without hitting the crossbar or the post. Again, Declan Rice, 2 times in one night. I saw quite a funny comment on Twitter. I can't remember who it was, but it was Declan Rice scored the best free kick he's seen in like a decade. And then he scored the second free kick he scored was the best free kick he saw in 13 minutes. I mean, that pretty much summed it up. If you thought the first one was good, the second one arguably is even better. And Arsenal find themselves 2-0 up, and they thoroughly deserve it. Don't take into account the fact it was a free kick and let them maybe take away from the fact that Arsenal didn't score maybe an open play or anything. Arsenal thoroughly deserve to be in front at this point, 2-0 up. And Real Madrid were lackluster. Arsenal made them look so lackluster. They weren't pressing effectively, they couldn't get their foot on the ball well, and when they weren't creating any chances. Arsenal had them. Arsenal were the perfect team for Real Madrid. And, maybe the last layer of it is they got themselves a third goal to make it one of the best nights ever, like I said. And when Declan Rice picks up the ball and is running towards the Real Madrid back line, you can hear the shouts of shoot from the Arsenal crowd, who, by the way, who I haven't even mentioned, I don't know how, were absolutely electric. The loudest I think I've ever heard them on TV. But yeah, like I said when I was showing you the player positionings earlier on, you can see here that because the wide player and this because it's been a substitution, you got Trossard on the far left because he's out there keeping the width. Marzo Skelly, who's just above me there, just about. He's inverting midfield. That creates a space for Declan Rice, and he can run into that space. What he does here, he's not going to be selfish. He's on the high of scoring those 2 free kicks, but he's not going to try and jink his way through the Real Madrid defense. It's quite unlikely he's going to get past all those players. So he's going to play the sensible pass, and he does. And credit to them, because despite the fact that 2-0 up, you might start seeing wild shots here, and you might see trying to do skills. But no, they stick to the game plan, play the pass, play the extra pass, and they get it, and they get themselves another goal. Declan Rice here passes the ball to Trossard, Trossard to Maslow Skelly, and then Maslow Skelly to Mika Marino. And just look at this picture for a moment. I mean, you got Maslow Skelly on the edge of the box there. You got Trossard out wide. You then got 4 Arsenal players, in the danger area in the box around the centre circle. But then you've also only got 4 Real Madrid players marking them one-on-one. And even if you think about it, Lewis Skelly doesn't pass to Marino. Look at, there's still someone making the back post run as well, and they're in absolute acres as well. So Arsenal at this point were comfortably in front. And Mika Marino, I mean, how he's playing as a number 9 and scoring this amount of goals, it's just I can't put it into words. I genuinely can't. It's just the way Arteta has got this team playing with, like I said, some of the injuries that they have had and have now as well, and the fact that he's still finding creative solutions so the team's performances don't drop off, to the fact that they beat Real Madrid 3-0. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And this finish by Marino, you can see him there. You'd normally maybe expect a centre forward to make the run towards the 6-yard box, but he makes it away away from the 6-yard box towards the edge of the box, the opposite way of movement in terms of everyone else and where they're going. So he finds himself the space, but then how he's moving backwards to still generate the power going forwards in the shot to still beat Courtois through the bodies. It's honestly mind-blowing, and Arsenal thoroughly deserve it. And just a little bit of icing on the cake. I mean, going into the game, I heard a lot of people talking about the Real Madrid players being on yellow cards, and you got to make sure that, the crowd have got to be on them in case that one of them does a foul, and it's kind of a 50-50. Pressurize the referee into giving that player a yellow card so they miss the next game. Camavinga at this point has already been on a yellow card. He already knows he's missing the second leg, and it's just pure frustration. And this is where I heard the whistle from the replay. And he knows that, if he kicks this ball, he's going to be sent off. But he doesn't care because Arsenal have ran him ragged. They've ran the team ragged. And it looks incredibly unlikely that they're going to be able to overturn it. Arsenal already have 1 foot into the semi-finals of the Champions League. So Camavinga just goes, do you know what? I'm going to boot it, and I'm going to do it because I don't care anymore. And him being sent off was just the icing on top of the cake. The cherry on top of the cake, sorry. The cherry on top. And it was just the perfect night for Arsenal here. And God, I mean, Arsenal fans, let me know. I mean, what a phenomenal night. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost for words here, I'll be honest. This analysis is kind of going downhill, but let me just summarize my final thoughts for you. Because like I said, one of definitely the greatest nights in Emirates history, if not the greatest. Arsenal fans, you'll have to let me know if it was or if it wasn't for you. What this means now for the second leg, I mean, a word of warning. I will say that Rice went off injured. Saka went off injured. Yes, the noises post-match have all been good. They're all fine. They're going to be fit to play. Don't play them against Brentford. Just don't even play them. Don't even bother. Go into the second leg and just play the stinkiest, worst, deepest low block ever in history, and just see it out and go for a 0-0 draw, because I think this Arsenal side are perfectly capable of doing that. I don't think that Real Madrid are going to go through to semis. I don't think there's going to be a comeback. I mean, Ancelotti said, we are going to make a comeback. I heard some of the other players say they were. I don't think they will, but it's not impossible that there's maybe a chance. I mean, there's a 1% chance. That's it, that they go through. So I can easily see Arsenal defending, first half being 0-0, maybe getting a goal on the counter-attack, making it 4-0 on the night, and just going through against Real Madrid. But I think the fact that we're even in this position now, that we're saying that when I thought previewing the game that it was going to be a really tough night for Arsenal, but I thought they could get something from it, is absolutely phenomenal. Credit, like I said, to Arteta, credit to the players that I mentioned in particular. I thought they were all phenomenal to a T. Credit to the fans for creating that atmosphere, because it's not necessarily about intimidating the opposition, but it's about encouraging your own players to perform better than, it sounds a bit cheesy, but better than they thought they ever could. And Declan Rice, Saka, Skelly, but also the rest of the team as well. Kiwior coming into this game. I mean, if you told him 2 weeks ago that he's going to be starting in this game, he wouldn't have believed it. But he did all right as well. I mean, going to the Bernabeu, maybe it's Aston Villa, probably going to be PSG, but Arsenal fans, yeah, let me know how you're feeling. You must feel absolutely over the moon. I don't blame you. If you enjoyed this video, sorry, the analysis kind of got in the way of my emotions there, but no, sorry, my emotions, I can't even speak. Let me know if you liked it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.